A huge victory for the British public as a campaign led by Nigel Farage and GB News has reached its goal. Yes, the petition to protect cash as a legal tender has received almost 300,000 signatures, which means that Nigel Farage earlier on, alongside his GB News colleagues, were allowed to enter Downing Street and officially meet with the Treasury, well, number 11, Downing Street. So this is the Don't Kill Cash campaign led by GB News. You got Liam Halligan in this photo, and he was also joined by Nigel Farage. They also had this balloon thing, that this piggy bank, which is now currently, if you're in Westminster, you can see it across the river from the Houses of Parliament. We also have some footage when it comes to the arrival of Nigel Farage officially at Downing Street.
What are you doing today, Nigel?
Giving a petition. 300,000 people signed this. Don't kill cash. I want the Chancellor to make sure that legal tender stays legal tender.
Absolutely brilliant. So you had Patrick Christys, you had Michelle Dewberry, we had Liam Halligan, and of course we also had Bev Turner, who's also been very good at leading this campaign. We also have the footage of when they officially entered Downing Street.
Many of you have contacted us saying that you're really unhappy about how we're moving towards a cashless society. Millions of people affected by this, and millions of people still relying on cash. So Martin has the petition in his hands there. Not Martin, you're Martin. Nigel has the petition in his hands, and they are making their way to number 11 with the petition. Not quite sure who's going to answer the door. Don't know whether Jeremy Hunt's in, but somebody will be there to receive it.
They're going past number 10.
So we have talked about the idea of digital currencies. We've talked about the gradual move towards cashless society, but not the mandatory aspects of it. So there's one thing is about the world changes all the time, especially now we live in a globalized world, but doesn't mean that we need the central planning systems or governments essentially to push for it or create mandatory systems. So this is the problem we have with Rishi Sunak's idea of Bitcoin, or the programmable digital currencies. So the Bank of England and Treasury will have the power, will have the mechanism to control your spending in terms of how much you're spending and what you're spending it on, depending on your behavior. They haven't confirmed that they're going to be doing it from day one, but it is going to be programmable. The currency, the so-called currency that's going to be digital, which means that we've had the social credit system in China, we've had all these ideas, even in Canada, Justin Trudeau, and the problem is, even if they don't confirm any of those tyrannical policies yet, the mechanism is there. It's going to go towards that side, and they're going to be monitoring your behavior in the real world, and of course, especially online. Your online identity must be protected, and one of the few ways we can actually do it is the way I do it. I use, obviously, as you guys know. Do you know what I do? Oh yeah, Atlas VPN. I use Atlas VPN to make sure that my identity is protected online. It's the best way. It's got full email protection as well as ad blocker, and you hide your identity. It's the only way you can save yourself from the tyrannical governments and corporations. Of course, there are other ways as well, but Atlas VPN has an 85% limited offer, £1.50 a month. On top of that, 3 months extra. Check out the link in the description. Now, we also had supporters of GB News and Nigel Farage and the whole campaign also outside Downing Street, the gates. We had Alan Miller, the founder of the Together Declaration, Together Association. Let's see what Alan Miller had to say.
Well done to GB News, the whole team, and to Liam Halligan and everyone that's done the Keep Cash campaign at GB News. It's really important and vital. Together we support that entirely. We've been running our own campaign with lots of different people. Let's make sure we keep cash. The government needs to hear this. Everybody needs to hear from us, the Treasury. We need to make sure that not digital IDs and CBDC and Rishi's plans for some of that, that we need to keep cash. It's essential for so many reasons. Make sure we all have our voices together.
Absolutely spot on. As I said, one thing is about the gradual move towards a new world, and that happens all the time. when we had technologies being created, hackney carriages were replaced by black cabs and taxis. Things do change. But the problem we now have is that the globalized world also includes a globalist elite, which means that they get together from different countries and they have meetings about the future and they want to save us from ourselves. So they are creating mandates. And this is the problem we had. We saw what happened during the lockdown. We saw what happened just after the lockdown with the jabs. They create pressure from the top. So we have to fight back, because nobody will have a problem if everything is an option. Voluntary. You can have cash if you want to use cash. You can have digital currencies as long as it's not programmable. And you can have cryptocurrencies. You can have bank transfers. You can have this. You can have that. That's okay. Same argument we make about the energy sector. You can easily have. You could diversify your portfolio. You can have gas. You can have oil. You can have coal. You can have solar. You can have wind. But don't have the central government use tax money, people's tax money, to create mandates and regulations that will control us forever. That's where we disagree with the establishment. That's why you have to protect yourself in the meantime, while we have to wait for some sort of political party or political leadership to come and shake things up. As I said, the best way you can do it is to use Atlas VPN. The link is in the description. They currently have a limited summer deal, 85% off, £1.50 a month, 3 months extra on top of it. You can protect your identity online, at least. The real world is more difficult because you have to rely on the Metropolitan Police if you live in London. But at least online you can do that. Let me know your thoughts. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.